Hello, it's Steve Mills here, and great to be back on the Results Podcast, sharing with you some more tried, tested and proven ways that you can grow your business. Now, today I'm coming at it from a little bit of a different angle, I think, and I want to talk to you about what I think are the 7 differences between poor people and rich people. Now, I hate the word poor and rich because it means like, what does rich mean? Does that mean I've got £1 million in the bank? Or, compared with Bill Gates, I'm probably like really poor. So it's all about perspective, I suppose, on what you consider to be rich and poor. And also, is that about money? I just heard the other day that actually a friend of my wife's nephew, who's 26 years old, was out jogging, young, fit, healthy man, and had a heart attack. And he got to hospital and he had several more heart attacks. And right now, to be honest, his life is in the balance. So my thoughts and my wishes foremost go to him right now. I've never met him, but I'm told he's a lovely young man, and I really hope he keeps fighting and manages to survive this terrible situation that he's currently in. Having said that, let's just go back to talking about what are the 7 differences. So here we go. So number 1 is I've got down, poor people get paid for exchanging time for money. Rich people get paid for results. Now, you may think, well, Tom Cruise gets paid for time for money. Yeah, that's true. But he also gets paid for results. If his next movie bombs and he doesn't make any money, then you can guarantee that his next fee for making a movie will probably be reduced. And so, I do think that is true. A lot of people when they're poor, when they're even just reasonably well off, they focus on exchanging time for money, going into work, doing the work, getting paid at the end of the month, come what may. And often they're not rich. Rich people get paid for creating results. Number 2, poor people blame others for their lack of success. Now, they could include the government, or it's the economy, it's COVID, it's, too competitive, I can't charge what I'm worth, etc., etc. So in other words, they come up with loads and loads and loads of excuses. I hear them all the time. Rich people take responsibility for their own world. The old saying, if it's to be, it's up to me. I love the one I think I heard from Michael Gerber many years ago, and he said that the fish stinks from the head down, and by that he was talking about a business. So in other words, if there's something wrong with your business, if your business is not making the money it could, it starts with you, not with, I can never get good people. Well, that's your fault or my fault, and so on. So, excuse me, I think that's very, very true. Next one, number 3. Poor people work and spend a lot of time watching what I call poor quality TV. Now, I'm not talking about, you shouldn't watch TV. I love watching a really good film or a sitcom or, some of the old stuff I quite like, I must confess. But, if you examined your TV viewing, would it be that you, basically thought, do you know what? All the TV that I watch is absolutely brilliant. I love watching it. I get so much enjoyment from it. Or is it that it's on and almost that you can't be bothered turning it off or over? For me, I think a phenomenal amount of people spend a phenomenal amount of time wasting their time watching, cooking programs and maybe sitcoms, but also, some of those programs that we all know are on there, but, really, are they really the best use of your life? I just mentioned that young man, 26 years old, as I said, I really hope he pulls through, and I hope it makes him think, do you know what? I need to live the rest of my life in the best possible way, like we all do. Poor people, this is number 4, poor people invest and believe in winning the lottery. I see them all the time. Every time I go into a news agent, they're there buying the lottery ticket. Now, don't get me wrong, buying the lottery ticket is good. It goes to many good causes and there's lots of good in there. But believing you're going to win, okay, somebody does, I appreciate that, but I think your odds are something like 50 million to 1. Spending money all the time, every day on the lottery, it ain't really a wise investment strategy. Rich people, what do they invest in? They invest in property, in businesses, in stocks and shares, in things that they know at least have a reasonable chance of being successful at, rather than spending money on things like the lottery. Number 5, poor people think that money is the root of all evil, and money does not make you happy. Rich people believe that poverty is the root of all evil. Now, I'm not going to get into an argument here, but what I would say is my take on that is that I believe money makes you more of what you already are. So in other words, if I'm a kind, gentle, giving, family-loving, love to try and help people type guy, then what money does for me, it enables me to do more of that. So if I had money, if I all of a sudden, I don't know, inherited, or maybe if I won the lottery, which I can't remember the last time I bought a ticket, so that's highly unlikely. But if I did, if I all of a sudden, became, let's say, far more wealthier than I am now, let's use 50 million in the bank. If I had 50 million in the bank, I'd have much more for me to be able to help my family, help charities, do something about, the difficult, the poverty basically that some people live in. I'd be able to do good with it. Now, if I was a person, which I'm certainly not, who's mean and big-headed and full of his own whatever, then again, I've got more to be that. So, I don't think money necessarily makes you happy. We all can think of lots of people who had lots of money, people like Elvis Presley and Elizabeth Taylor, probably Michael Jackson, had more money than they could ever spend. And yet, we all know their stories. So that's not that money will make you happy. Money will make you more of what you already are. Poor people, this is number 6, by the way, poor people think they know it all. They don't invest, it just drives me mad, they don't invest time, money and effort in themselves. And this also applies to poor business owners. They set up their business, they turn over anything from about 30 to 80, perhaps even 100 grand a year, but they're not really making any money, and they're certainly not rich. And when you ask them how much time, money and effort have you spent investing in yourself, learning more about marketing or selling or running a business, they say, well, none, Steve. Whereas when I talk to my rich friends, they tell me all about what they're learning now, how they're consistently looking for a better way. They ask my advice and so on and so forth. And lastly, number 7, poor people save money, they squirrel it away, and they don't take any risks at all. They just keep their money safe and risk-free. Now, on one hand, I'd say, well, that's all good stuff. But do you know what? If you don't take, that leap forward sometimes, then that's not a good thing. Rich people know how to protect their money while still being able and willing to invest some of it in themselves and others, and really just to take some of their money and risk some of it. Now, you may say, well, that's all right for them because they got loads of money, and when I've not got loads of money, then I can't afford to take a risk. But my question or my answer to that would be, how do you think they got so rich? They got rich by taking a little risk, or sometimes a big risk. Now, the younger you are, the more risk you can take, I would say. As you get older, and as I get older, I need to be a little bit safer in my risk strategy. But I love the example that I heard Tony Robbins tell once when I was on one of his seminars. He said, you should have 3 buckets. In one of them, you call your safety bucket. One of them you call your fun bucket, and the other one you call your risk or your investment bucket. And you put your money equally in all those buckets. So if you had £9,000 right now, you'd put 3,000 in your security bucket, keep that safe. You put 3,000 in your fun bucket. This is the bucket that you're going to use to, buy fun things, perhaps go places, do things and live your life. And then you put 3,000 in your investment bucket. So that's the bucket that you're going to use to invest in things, maybe in stocks or in property, or, I know 3,000 is not much money to invest in property, but you get the idea. Maybe in paintings, or, in buying, setting up a business, or, setting up an online business. I was talking to one of my clients the other day, who told me that his 16-year-old son has set up a business, and he started it in August, which, as I record this is now the 16th of August. He told me on the 13th of August, his 16-year-old son in his new online business had made £6,000, £6,000 in 13 days. When you're 16 years old, blimey heck, that's not bad, is it? I don't know about you, but I didn't have £6,000 in the bank, and I'd never had anywhere near that success when I was that age. And, good for him. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I look forward to finding out how much more successful he's going to be over the next few months and years. So, if you've got, something, think about, in terms of money, think about where you're going to invest your time. Think about your split ratio between safety, fun, and investment. If you want to be rich, if you want to be successful, do what they do, not what poor people do. And that's about it. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to know more from me, if you want me to help you get rich, give us a shout and go to my website, book a meeting. You can do that on my homepage by looking at my diary. You'll see a gold button near the top of my homepage. Just click on that. That'll give you access to my diary. You can find a time that's convenient for you, and we can meet and we can have a conversation. So my website is www.steve-mills.com. That's about it. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you next time on my Results Podcast. Thank you.